India's D. Gukesh takes on the IM from Iran, Arash Tahbaz. Gukesh has just given a check to his opponent's king, and he's a rook down right now. So Arash, if he's able to save his king, should be able to win. He goes king to e3, enters right into the territory. Gukesh is now thinking, how should he checkmate his opponent's king? Clearly the g3 pawn is hanging. Gukesh making final calculations, but after king g3, can the rook interpose in between? Or does the king move? King e2. There are so many possibilities here. Gukesh takes the pawn with his rook. Now, if in this position rook f3 is played, it's a mate in 2 after queen d4 and queen d2. So, king f2 has been preferred. Gukesh makes his final calculations. He knows that he's got his opponent here in a net. So does Arash. Queen h2, and he stops the clock. If king e1, rook e3 was coming in, Gukesh has managed to beat his opponent with a massive king hunt. But how did this king hunt happen? Let's have a look at the game. So let's have a look at this game, which happened in the 7th round of the Delhi International GM tournament. Gukesh, playing with the white pieces here, opened the game with 1 d4, knight f6, c4 e6, knight f3, d5. It was the queen's gambit declined, bishop f4 variation, castles, e3, knight bd7, and Gukesh goes for the sharpest move, c5. Knight e4, this also has been played before, although knight h5 and c6 are the most popular moves, but knight e4 has been played by Carlsen, queen c2 by Gukesh, and now f5, solidifying the knight. Now, generally in such positions, white can go for two approaches. He can develop his bishop and castle, but strong players often prefer that king is still in the center, can go long castle to start attacking on the king side with their pawns, and Gukesh does just that with h4. And this is a move that Gukesh likes to play. It complicates the game in a very different sort of a way. c6, bishop e2, bishop f6, and now of course g4. Very nice, very typical move. In the stone wall, you hit the structure. Now if he were to take, then knight e4. Now two recaptures are possible. This is a very bad move because after knight g5, e4 is hanging, black's position is in tatters. But if you were to take a gf, then after knight f6, let's say you take with any of the piece, say queen, I play bishop d3, and white is better. He's going to long castle, get his rook here. It's a nice position. So Arash here went for knight c3. Gukesh took back with the pawn. He could have also taken with the queen. Fg, knight g5, already having a great position because now the rook opens up to h7. g6 was played, and in this position Gukesh made a small error. A very strong way to continue was bishop d3, threatening bishop takes g6. If queen e7, I can play long castles, then rook h6, then the other rooks joins in, sacrifices here and here. It's going to be a massacre here. Notice that bishop d6 in such a position is not possible because after queen g5, bishop f8, knight f8, it's black who is suddenly better rather than white. So bishop takes g4 was played by Gukesh, and this allowed Arash to fight back. He went e5, nice move. Gukesh gave a check, king g7, and now he had to drop his bishop back when his position is still preferable. But he went f3, and his idea is very nasty, very nasty. Suppose you take here, Try to figure out what is the best move for white. Did you find it? It's actually mate in 3. Take, take, check, king here, and a mate. This is a very typical mating pattern. Just keep it in mind. So this is the dangerous idea that Gukesh has. So now it's your task, black, to play. What is the only defensive move in this position? Yes, the only defensive move here is h5. Phenomenal defense by Arash. So after gh6, his king is now safe because white can never capture his own pawn. So after rook g1, queen f6, bishop d7, he takes f4. You have to take that because if you take on d7, I have bishop e5. So take on c8. And now in this position, after e4, it seems like black is the one who's pushing. Because after f3, threat is f2. So Gukesh quickly long castles, but a check comes in. Now if you go to b1 or b2, black goes b6, trying to open up the b file for counterplay. So Gukesh says, let's play rook d2. But in comes g5. And you can see that these pawns are so strong. But this is where Gukesh becomes really powerful. You know, he is fighting for his survival now. And when that happens, he starts finding resources. So first he gives a check. Now, one thing that surprised me throughout this game is why was black not playing king h8? Well, the reason is simple. He was afraid that the queen would enter in the position. But that's the thing about chess. You have to calculate accurately. After rook g8, the position is pretty much safe for now. But he played rook f5. He was like, let's not keep the queen there. And Gukesh now moved his king to b2. Pawn came forward. Again, king h8 is the better move. Black is better. But g4 is a mistake. Try to figure out what's the best move in this position for white. So you notice that this is a pin here, right? Once you notice that, you have to make use of that feature. How do you make use of that? Well, the move that you play here is d5. Phenomenal move by Gukesh. Congratulations if you found it. The point is, if you take here, I want to put my rook on d4. Now your queen is attacked. If you go to g5, I'll take on g4. You take on e5, I play rook e1, attacking here. If you play queen f6, I play rook d5. So this is a massive problem here for black. So Arash said, let me push my pawn to f2. Gukesh went rook f1, g3. And now, once again, Gukesh finds a great move. He plays e6. g2 is still not possible because after rook takes f2, this is attacked, this is pinned. So he went queen e5. And now in this position, there were many possibilities, but the best move here would have been e7. The reason is that after cd, of course you can't play g2 still because of rook f2. But cd, you play rook f2, rook g takes, rook takes. And now you will notice that this pawn is very close to queening. First this is hanging. So let's say you go king g6 and now rook e2. And this will queen next move. So that's the reason why e7 was a strong move here. But it's not so easy to spot. So Gukesh went d6, queen takes, rook e2, queen d5, rook d1, queen c5, rook e7, and now once again king h8 was necessary. Well, you would be afraid of d7 for sure, because after this you have a check. But after king h7 now, it's still not a mate. And if you were to take on d8, I have f1 queen, rook f1 and check, king moves somewhere, and then you take on f1. So somehow, let's say, but there, where does the king move is also very important. If you go king a3, I'm not going to take, I'll give you a check again. And if you were to come on the first rank, I'll take with a check. So He went king g6. This is a blunder. Now Gukesh comes queen e4. Check, king c2, queen. But Gukesh takes, check on g4. Now if you were to play rook g5, I have rook g7 and I win because I win this rook with a check. So you take, check. Two moves, king g6 and rook h5. If rook h5, check, king back, check here. King f7, check, check, and you win the queen at the very least. It would also be a checkmate somewhere. But king g6, check, check. And now if king f6, very important move, try to find how to mate. He went king f4. But this was, and this is where our video starts at the beginning. Check, king here. It was very important to give this check because now you go rook e7 check, king d5, queen d2 check, king c5, queen d4 check, king b5. Now again, if you make a mistake like queen b4, it's a draw. After this, king a6 check, king a5 check, and now queen a6. Even black wins. And if you do this, it's a draw. So it's such a sharp position. You need to be accurate till the last move. So don't give queen b4 check, play rook b7, king a5, take, check, and mate. So he went king f4, he didn't go king f6. Check here. Now a few moves here. King e5 is met with queen d4, king e6 with rook e7. So king e3 takes, rook f3 is met with check, check, and mate. So I had to go king f2, check. And here he resigned because king e1, there was rook e3. Oh, there was also queen d2, by the way. Mate. And that's how the game ended. I hope you liked it. This is how Gukesh plays. He's very, very aggressive. He's also very dangerous to his opponents when he plays in this way. He backs himself. Right now, after 7 rounds at the Delhi International, we have Gukesh is right now, he lost 1 game at the start, but he's won 6 of his other games and he's reached the lead. Also in lead is Arjun Erigesi, Pavel Ponkratov, Lalit Babu, Harsha Bharatkoti, Karthik Venkatraman, and Ortik Nigmatov along with Gukesh. So many players in the lead. It's going to be an exciting finish with 3 more rounds to go, 8, 9, and 10. This is Sagar Shah signing off. Bye-bye.